Welcome to The Explainer. Tonight, we are going deep into a world where the very idea of an original is, well, it's dissolving. We're talking about everything, from the sound of a voice you love to the actual code of our DNA. Everything is becoming a copy. So, what happens when you just can't tell the difference anymore?
We're diving headfirst into what some are calling the crisis of synthesis. It's a new landscape where that solid line between what's real and what's fake, it's getting blurrier by the second. And it all starts with something you think you know, a voice you trust completely, and that chilling moment when you realize it might not be real at all.
So look at this number. That's over $1 trillion. That's how much was lost to scams across the globe in 2024. Now, this isn't just some random spike. People are calling it an industrial revolution for fraud criminals, and it's being powered by these new, incredibly accessible AI tools that can copy the things that make us, us.
Okay, let's start with the most immediate, the most personal threat, the weaponization of your own voice. This is where this whole synthesis crisis really hits home. I mean, literally, right through your phone.
The real game changer here is just how easy this has all become. Scammers don't need a high-tech studio anymore. All they need is maybe 15, 30 seconds of your voice. And think about it. Where can they get that? A video you posted on social media? A public talk? Heck, even your own voicemail greeting.
This three-step process looks simple on screen, but the real weapon here isn't just the tech. It's raw emotional manipulation. I mean, imagine hearing what sounds exactly like your child, panicked and in trouble. It just bypasses all your rational defenses. It hits a primal button, that deep-seated instinct to protect. And that's the very instinct criminals are now exploiting on a massive scale.
Now, let's take this whole idea, creating these incredibly convincing copies, and shift gears. What happens when this power moves out of the digital world and into the biological one?
To really get the leap we've made, think of it like this. Cloning started with SCNT, the tech they used for Dolly the sheep. It was basically a biological photocopier. It made a genetic duplicate, that's it. But now we have CRISPR, and CRISPR is more like a word processor for DNA. It doesn't just copy, it can find a specific sequence, cut it out, and rewrite the code itself.
And this timeline just shows how incredibly fast this is all moving. In less than 30 years, we went from cloning a sheep to bringing back the sounds of an extinct species. Now, to be clear, these aren't actually direwolves. They're what scientists call functional proxies, gray wolves edited with direwolf DNA. We've literally gone from replication to a kind of resurrection.
But this is exactly where things get complicated. Critics are arguing that these projects are actually spreading misinformation. They tap into our desire to, fix the past, but are they really bringing back extinct animals? Or are they just creating these incredibly sophisticated imitations? And that raises some really big questions about authenticity, and frankly, it risks undermining the public's trust in science.
So once we learned how to edit animals, how to create these copies and hybrids, it was maybe inevitable that someone would try this on the most controversial subject of all, us.
And this was the one line that the entire scientific community had agreed we would not cross. See, human germline editing isn't just about changing one person. It's about altering the human gene pool forever. Any change you make, good or bad, intended or not, gets passed down to every future generation. It's a permanent edit to our collective human story. And this was the technology at the very heart of the 2018 CRISPR baby scandal.
The reaction from scientists around the world wasn't just disappointment. It was immediate, universal condemnation. Even the very pioneers of CRISPR were horrified. Jennifer Doudna, who literally won a Nobel Prize for her work on this technology, she had just one word for what happened: monstrous. And that single word tells you everything you need to know about the line that was crossed.
And the details that came out later just hammered home why that reaction was so severe. This wasn't some simple mistake or a miscalculation. An official investigation found that the scientist, He-Jane Koo, deliberately went around all supervision, forged his ethical review papers, and completely misled the parents who were involved. It was a calculated risk for personal fame, and it ultimately landed him a 3-year prison sentence.
So all of this brings us right here to today, a time where these seemingly separate technologies, faking a voice, resurrecting an animal, editing a human, are all converging into a brand new and pretty dangerous landscape for crime.
This table really connects the dots. It shows how this crisis of synthesis is spawning a whole new generation of crime. You've got genetic piracy, where million-dollar horses are cloned from a single stray hair. You have these heartbreaking pet cloning scams preying on grieving owners. And then you have these whispers, these rumors of unregulated clinics offering the very same illegal human editing that put He-Jane Koo in prison.
It's all part of the same thing, creating a convincing but totally fake reality for profit.
So, where does all this leave us? We're now living in a world where our own senses, our memories of a loved one's voice, even the fundamental code of life itself, can be convincingly, perfectly forged.
The real challenge, you see, it's no longer just about telling truth from fiction. That's an old problem. The new crisis is about telling the original from the copy. And this creates something that experts call the liar's dividend. A world so flooded with fakes that an actual criminal can just plausibly claim their real crimes were just deep fakes. I mean, think about it. When a copy is perfect, does the original even matter anymore? And that is the question we're all left with now. For the first time in the history of our species, we hold the pen. We can't just read the book of life anymore. We can actually rewrite it. Navigating this new age of synthesis, it means we have to confront the immense, almost terrifying responsibility that comes with that power. Because the story we choose to write, that's going to be the only one future generations will ever know.